What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Zachary Smith. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell before we dive in. Well, it is another wrestling video. SummerSlam is this weekend. I, of course, got to get on my SummerSlam predictions. I've been MIA from the channel for a bit. To be honest with you, was just a matter of time more than anything else. That's why I told you guys it's going to be like sporadic when I do stuff, whether it's, prediction videos or posting an episode of the Zachary Smith show, whatever it might be. It's all going to be completely random and when I just feel like I have time. So haven't had the time recently. Been working on a lot of other stuff with my other projects around the 412 Steelers afternoon drive. Obviously, actually going to be out covering Steelers camp credentialed for the Friday Night Lights practice. Very excited about that. So a lot of coverage coming over there if you are a Steelers fan and are here right now. Stay tuned for that. Looking forward to that. But anyways, yes, SummerSlam is this weekend. I'll be coming back. So that's on Friday, SummerSlam, Saturday, and Sunday. Very much looking forward to that. Let's dive in without further ado. So obviously I don't know the match order. I did this, split them up Saturday and Sunday, and I did like my best guess. So we'll see how good I got this. If they're not closing the show, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso are opening the show. Like, there's no way. So if you're looking at CM Punk and Gunther as the night one main event, which if you just want to go based off like the Peacock graphic for the show, that shows as that's the graphic right now. So I assume that's going to close the show. So we got Roman Reigns and Jey Uso going against the Braun and Braun security here, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed. I would honestly, if this was me, I would love to see Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed win this. However, and the reason I'm glad I didn't record this video prior to Monday Night Raw is this is definitely one that I would have felt was like a toss-up and leaving to the go-home math to decide. And with Bronson and Braun standing tall, very tall, on Monday night, completely decimating Roman and Jey, and even taking Roman's shoes in the process, I'm going to take Roman and Jey Uso to win this match. If this were me, like I said, I think that this is just a way that you put a massive stamp on Braun and Bronson here. And specifically Braun. Like, I think that you can already kind of see those seeds where this isn't going to be like a super long-term thing. This faction, Braun keeps saying I and everything as opposed to Bronson Reed and Paul Heyman, and obviously Seth not around right now, but it's been we. Braun has been saying I. So very clearly he's trying to be the guy. And that's going to happen sooner rather than later. But yeah, I think Roman and Jey take this. Also, just popped in my mind. I should have talked about this before. Like, I fully dove in to giving predictions here. But think about the people that are not on this card. And I understand, even in a 2-night event, there's going to be people that we feel like should be on the card that aren't. There's not enough spots to go around. But like, you got Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross on this card. That doesn't do it for me. Obviously, a lot of people are going to make, something of Jelly Roll and Logan Paul taking the spots along with Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre, and being how those guys are utilized here. Becky and Lyra, which I'm super excited for, by the way, having their like 4th straight PLE match. I know Bayley was included in one of those, but Bayley's not on this card. But like, no Priest and Black, like that would have been to me a really good PLE match here that I would have preferred to see over Zayn and Cross. To finally see Alistair back on a PLE, and no Penta or LA Knight on this card as well. Ray Phoenix, Penta's brother, is on this card in a match that might be like my match I'm looking forward to the most this weekend. So do not take this as a slight at Ray Phoenix. But it's just kind of wild to me that those 4 guys aren't anywhere to be seen on the card this weekend in a 2-night event. But it is what it is. We got Roman and Jey winning the opener here on Saturday. A lot of tag matches. Raquel and Roxanne defending the women's tag team championships against Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. I could see both ways of this thing, to be quite honest with you. I'm really enjoying this Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss thing. I think this is what people have kind of been clamoring for Charlotte Flair. Let's not like bring her right back in. And this is why she didn't get a good reception when she first came back. She's immediately back in to the top level title picture. chasing that. And it's just like, my God, do they know how to book her? Like, not going after the top championship? Well, we're doing really good work now. Um, really cool stuff with Alexa in this tag team right now. Are they friends? Aren't they friends? Are they just tag partners? Very clearly, this is going to end up being a feud between the two of them. But do they win the tag championships in the process of doing so? I would love to see it. I think that they should pull the trigger on that here. What would it mean for the Judgment Day, though? A lot of this could depend on how quickly Liv Morgan is going to be back into the fold. You could obviously scold them for losing the championships while she was away. Liv would have never have lost the belt. So I could see this going both directions. SummerSlam has been a pay-per-view where they've been willing to turn over a lot. You look back at last year's SummerSlam, Gunther takes the belt off Priest, Nia takes the belt off Bayley, Braun takes the belt off Sami Zayn, LA Knight takes the belt off Logan Paul. Were there other ones? That might have been it. But either way, that's 4 right there. So yeah, this is an event where they're definitely willing to flip the page, end reigns, start new ones. I'm going with Charlotte and Alexa here. Maybe that's my heart over my mind a little bit. But again, I genuinely could see this going either direction. But we know what the ultimate goal here with this storyline is between Charlotte and Alexa getting to a singles match. All right, let's talk about it. Sami Zayn, Karrion Kross singles match. What a weird, like, I don't know, stipulation, if you want to call it that, with, you know, if Sami loses, he has to admit Karrion Kross was right and whatever they're doing with it. Listen, I honestly feel like I'm a bigger supporter of Karrion Kross than a lot of people that I see on the internet wrestling community. I do not think this needs to be on a PLE again. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Sami Zayn obviously deserves the spotlight here and being on the biggest show of the summer. And this is currently what he's wrapped up in. But like, we definitely need to wrap this up and go somewhere else with it. Or with him, I should say. Karrion Kross, we'll see if he signs a new contract in the direction they would go. That very well could be the reason that he's on this PLE, is because of contract negotiations that are ongoing with him, with that running up. But yeah, so Sami Zayn, I was surprised that he actually won at Night of Champions. I thought you give Karrion Kross the win there. And unfortunately, I did have kind of the foresight this was going to happen, even though it's not the direction I would have wanted them to. I thought Sami would get the lick back here and win this one. Was hoping it would take place before SummerSlam, but thought we could see it ridden out all the way too. I think Sami's got to win here. I have trouble seeing the vision if Karrion Kross wins based off that little bit of a stipulation there, and Sami would having to admit that Karrion was right. Just seems odd to me if that's the direction they were to go. So I'm going to take Sami Zayn here in the match that I'm probably looking forward to the least over the weekend. Yes, even over this. Let's talk about it. That is legitimately the only PNG that I could find for Jelly Roll. A WWE, maybe they'll get one before the weekend, but Randy Orton and Jelly Roll taking on Drew McIntyre, assuming he's able to get back into the United States, and Logan Paul. We'll see what will happen there if Drew McIntyre is not able to. Listen, this is not the way that I would have envisioned utilizing Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre for SummerSlam. That being said, tip of the cap to Jelly Roll for putting in the work seemingly at the Performance Center. Moved down there to be able to train and get ready for this, and we'll see if this is just a one-off or if this is something where it's going to be like a multi-appearance thing. Whatever he wants to do. Well, he's already made multiple appearances, multi-match thing that he wants to do, if he wants to do any more programs. I mean, obviously, Randy Orton and Jelly Roll are going to win this match. Logan Paul takes the pin. I mean, the result to me is very clear. What this actually looks like, and if it was worth taking up Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre's time, TBD. We'll see what this match is like and how much work Jelly Roll has put in the Performance Center. But I mean, tip of the cap to him, like I said, for doing the work. And I thought the promo was pretty good that he just gave on this most recent SmackDown. So It's not nothing. And we'll see what the end result is. The WWE Women's Championship between Tiffany Stratton and the Queen of the Ring, Jade Cargill. This is another one I could see going either way. There's not like a ton of gimmies to me on this over the weekend. You can make a case for both here to me. I feel like it is kind of sink or swim time with Jade Cargill. I'll be honest, I've seen a lot of people. When I say that, I don't mean from like an in-ring perspective or anything like that, because I was just saying, excuse me, I've seen a lot of people online saying that Jade's like regressing, getting worse in the ring. She's worse than she was in AEW. I don't know. I mean, of course, just opinion, right? Everybody has them. Just one man's opinion here as somebody that watches SmackDown weekly and has seen her matches on there. I feel like she's taking strides for sure in the ring. I thought she's done some really good stuff with Nia recently. I think that she just has a target on her back in general. Like, she kind of has to shake this narrative now. So it is kind of sink or swim time when you strap this belt to her, which I think is going to happen. If I would have done like an early predictions video, I would have said she wins here, but Naomi like immediately cashes in on her. Well, that's not going to happen now because we got the big swerve at Evolution with her cashing in during the Io and Rhea match, and we'll talk about all three of those women here very shortly. But I'm going to go Jade Cargill here, but it wouldn't stun me if they didn't go that direction. Yes, they obviously put the Queen of the Ring crown on her, but maybe they're in agreement with a lot of other people that they feel that she's not ready and they have to pivot away from that. You let Tiffany continue the reign, which, by the way, like, big Tiffany Stratton fan here as well. Again, in ring, like, I feel like she's done better work than what she's done recently. Like, her stuff, late run NXT, especially like with Becky Lynch and stuff, was phenomenal. Really put me on to her and made me such a big fan of Tiffany Stratton. But like, outside of her street fight with Nia, I don't think that the reign's been fantastic, like even including the WrestleMania match with Charlotte. So, it is what it is. I think that she's going to have better reigns down the line, but it'd be interesting if this is it for her first one right here at SummerSlam. Again, with how much turnover we typically see with these titles, would certainly make sense. I'm going to stick with a Jade Cargill pick, but if I was doing like a confidence points thing, I don't think it'd be super high. So we'll go Jade Cargill. Closing out night one, presumably Gunther versus CM Punk. The World Championship is on the line. Gunther took back that title from Jey Uso after less than 2 months. And CM Punk won a gauntlet to be Gunther's challenger here at SummerSlam. On paper, match I'm very excited about, but the problem is with the programming, with not a lot of time to build to these things, this is what you get. You get what looks on paper to be a really good match, but not a ton of substance to the story. And like, what is the story here? CM Punk saying he's the best in the world, Gunther believing he actually is. Like, what is that the story here? And the big thing looming over all of this is the health of Seth Rollins. I think that that's what a lot of people are expecting to have happen here, is neither one of these guys walk out with a title. Who cares who wins the match? Seth Rollins is going to cash in. That's what a lot of people are thinking. I love the fact that this is like looming, but this is my big problem with the internet wrestling community. It's just like the lack of belief that we can ever have in anything. And they are being very mysterious about it. Typically you would see more of a public statement in terms of like, hey, this is what the injury was. This is the timeline that we're looking at. And that hasn't happened. So they're doing it to themselves and being very coy about it, probably for this reason, to like keep everybody thinking and guessing. We have no idea what is going on here. If you want to believe the reporting, even, it goes two different directions. Some of the reports I've seen say he's not legitimately hurt, or he has a minor injury that they are playing up as something bigger, and he will be able to be back to cash in here and, do a shock cash in and take the championship. And even if he's not able to defend it right away, does he have to? I mean, the whole goal here for him, as he has stated, has been to make sure that CM Punk does not win the world championship. I think this is much more compelling if CM Punk beats Seth Rollins for the title down the line than he beats Gunther down the line right now. Sorry. For that reason, my prediction is CM Punk doesn't win the championship. Whether that means Gunther wins or we get a cash in to Seth Rollins not being hurt, at least to the severity that it seemed like, I'll be very broad with my prediction there. CM Punk does not leave SummerSlam as the World Heavyweight Champion. I think that he's got to chase that and win it off of Seth for it to really be a meaningful story for him and feel like a culmination. Winning off Gunther, like, yeah, he wins a world title, but like, again, the build hasn't been there. What is it, Matt? It's just winning the world championship. It's not, there's no chase really there, you know? So it's not as compelling. As a massive CM Punk fan, don't get me wrong, I would mark out if he wins the title at SummerSlam. I just, even being the biggest CM Punk fan that I am, wouldn't pull the trigger on it there. I don't think it makes sense. So that's where I'm at with it. That will wrap up night one. We go to night two. Very similarly to WrestleMania, we're going to have a banger of a triple threat to kick off SummerSlam night two with a women's triple threat for the world championship. Just replace Bianca Belair with Naomi in this scenario. And Naomi is actually the champion in this scenario, which, by the way, they did not have a championship render that I could find via Google Images. So we got to get on that. Expecting a banger here. And I don't want this to be predictable, but like, they're not going to take the belt off Naomi this quickly. And they already are like having her obviously have these interactions with Stephanie Vaquer. That is going to be a match at Clash in Paris. Yeah, Naomi's retaining here. The question, the only question here is who's eating the pin and how great is this match going to be? Those are really the only two things about it. What I would have happen, because Rhea has not beaten Io, and they obviously continue to play up that storyline. Naomi's really not in the picture. Rhea hits a riptide, is about to pin Io. Naomi comes in, throws Rhea out of the ring, and pins Io off of Rhea's move. So, like, very clearly, Rhea would have had the belt won and would have finally have slayed that dragon of Io Sky. Naomi stopped it from happening. I think that's the perfect finish for me. Although I hate it being Io, like, Rhea can take a pin, guys. Like, please let it happen. I know that Io pinned her cleanly to win the championship, but just like in these triple threats, it seems like they really try to protect her. Even in Naomi cashing in, right? It was on Io. So, again, I mentioned a few that has gotten a ton of time in WWE programming and on the PLEs has been Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria. Well, we're getting it again. Women's Intercontinental Championship, Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria. Very excited about this. From an in-ring perspective, I think Becky's run here has done exactly what it was supposed to do. It's put Lyra back on the chase and made her feel like a bigger star, which is what I wanted to have happen right out of the gate. With this championship, thought this was how you make a title like this mean more. As I said earlier, I feel terrible for Bayley being left out of this picture yet again. But it's very interesting to me for that reason. I just brought up Bayley. Do we sense a turn coming here? It would be very odd, like, for her to align with Becky, the person that took her out. But it really, like, the way that she's just been acting recently, I'm just expecting her to snap on Lyra. So it's just, if Lyra loses here, it kind of takes her. She would go into a feud with Bayley, who's going after the IC belt. So I'm gonna pick Lyra to win here, but keep that in the back of your mind, just the stuff that's been going on with Bayley. But yeah, we're gonna go Lyra here. Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu. Solo Sikoa just took that U.S. championship from Jacob Fatu at Night of Champions. With another debut from the Bloodline, Tonga debuting at that event to help Solo secure that championship. This one's in a steel cage. I think they wanted to just put Jacob back on the chase, maybe give him another big moment, similarly to at WrestleMania, how they had him win the title there, maybe do it again here. I don't think this was meant to be a long run for Solo. I think, as I just said, I think it was meant to put Jacob back on the chase, give him another big moment. I think Jacob takes it right back here. Like even as somebody pointed this out, like Solo didn't even have plates, his own plates on the championship. So like I think very clearly this was supposed to be a short-term thing. I got Jacob winning here. The only thing is, like, when are we getting Tama back, and is he going to align with Jacob, or what's that going to be like? Um, Man, like if he's on Solo's side, who in the world is going to be on Jacob's side here when we finally see things start to even out? The Intercontinental Championship, Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles. Um, this is another one I was kind of curious to see what the go home math would tell me. AJ pinning Dom on Raw tells me Dominic Mysterio is going to win this title. I thought it was a direction that they could go. AJ take that belt off Dom. He seems to be going to do some stuff in AAA right now, which is not saying he can't be the Intercontinental Championship champion and do so. But I was wondering if that would be, where his time was being spent. He drops the IC belt and lets AJ just have a bunch of bangers with it. So I switched my prediction on that. I'm going to go Dom Mysterio here to beat AJ Styles in what I expect is going to be a pretty good match. It's been fun watching AJ, go into all these disguises and stuff like that and play more of a character on Raw over the last few weeks. It's been fun, but yeah, we're going to go Dom Mysterio to retain the Intercontinental Championship here. Match of the weekend right here. Wyatt 6, Fraxium, Street Profits, DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, and Andrade and Phoenix, which they need to have a more creative name here. And this was very hard to make a graphic for and fit everybody on there. Listen, if this were a little bit further in the reign, I would feel pretty confident just saying, like, let's put the belts on somebody else. It's going to be a really fun match, and I have no clue. Pick a name out of a hat who's going to win it. But the Wyatt 6 just took these belts, and I just feel like they're not going to pull the trigger on something else yet with them. So I'm going to have them retain. I'm just hoping for a banger, man. The fact that these belts were defended not on WrestleMania and on an episode of SmackDown was a travesty. This is their way of making up for it. They get a great matchup here. So very excited for this match to take place. And yeah, just for the sake of saying that it's too early in the process here, we are going to go with the Wyatt 6 to retain. And finally, a street fight between John Cena and Cody Rhodes for the WWE Undisputed Championship. I've gone back and forth with this so many times. I thought early on, easy to just say Cody takes the belt back here. Cena can finish out the rest of his run as a babyface. The reason that there's a little bit more doubt with that in my mind now is Cody going to do Street Fighter and wondering how much time that is going to mean away. The question that I have based off that, so let's just like fantasy book for a second here, and not saying this is my prediction, but say John Cena wins here. Where does that go? When does he lose the belt? Not saying that they can't come up with feuds or stuff or ways to fill out the rest of his year. Reportedly, his last match is going to be against Gunther. We'll see if that takes place. I don't know where you go from here if John Cena wins this belt. He's done the Randy Orton thing already. He's done the CM Punk thing already. Roman? I mean, Drew? Like, I don't know where, and again, like, I don't know. It's hard for me to envision a world where they're going to be able to pull the trigger and it make more sense on somebody else being the one to take the belt off John. And he's not retiring with the belt. He is losing this beforehand, and he's going to end it as a babyface. For that reason, Cody Rhodes wins here. He gets back his United Undisputed Championship and retakes his throne, QB1, all that jazz. Does he turn heel in the process? A lot of people have talked about the WrestleMania 13, the double turn, Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin, one of the biggest moments, one of my favorite matches. And saying like, could we see something similar here? Is that a way to get John Cena back on the babyface track? The thing was like, with that, I feel like people were like already chomping at the bit for Stone Cold to, like, he was already so popular and stuff like that, but he wasn't a face yet. And Bret Hart, people couldn't wait to have turn in the opposite direction. Like, we've seen both of these guys obviously be faces. And the WWE universe, I mean, at least a lot of people that are watching now, since Cody came back, we haven't seen that happen. I know there's people that are clamoring for it, but I don't know that like enough seeds have been planted for it to happen quite yet. Now you could start to like plant them. I think that it's kind of already been started. If it happens, we can go back in certain things and say, okay, this is where. But it's not enough for me to think that it's like full blown ready to happen yet. I think he needs like this title run as a babyface at the very least, ride it till the wheels fall off, and then we get the heel turn at some point down the road. I don't think it happens here. I'll go on the record on here saying that I don't think that happens. So that's another prediction. But that's going to do it. Let me know your guys' predictions, obviously, in the comments, how you think this is going to play out. All these matches, looking very forward to an exciting weekend at Graps. Again, with it kind of being clustered, not the greatest builds, but I think on paper, looks like a really good weekend of matches in general. Sunday definitely outweighing Saturday to me. You can let me know your thoughts on that in the comments as well. But again, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff. And again, who knows when I'll see you again. But if you hit that notification bell, you know exactly when it is. So until next time, I am Zachary Smith, PGH. Follow me on everything. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.